Andrea Clausen here, and today is day one of the 21-day core and booty challenge. So I'm going to start with some basic moves for today. You won't need any equipment, but these are some of the fundamental moves that we're going to kind of incorporate throughout the challenge. So I want us to kind of have a good background and a good feel for these moves. So we're going to go ahead and start with the plank pounce. So plank pose, we're going to go ahead and bring our hands to the top of our mat. Plank pounce is kind of like between a down dog with your hips. So you're going to curl your toes under. Your hips are going to push up and back, but you're going to stay bent into your knees. So you see how my knees are hovering above the ground, and I'm about at a 90 degrees. And I'm going to push my hips back, and I'm going to spring forwards into a high plank. Notice my high plank. My shoulder, elbow, and wrist are going to stay in one straight line. Then I'm going to spring back into my legs and spring forwards. So we're going to keep going for 10. So springing back and forth. And we're going to do just 2 rounds for today. So I figured since it's day one, we're going to ease into the challenge. We're just going to start with 2 rounds because I believe maybe it's tomorrow's that I really kind of took it up a notch. 1 more. So I just wanted to ease our bodies into the challenge. So next one, we're going to flip over onto our backs. We're going to take it slow bicycle. So for this one, now usually bicycles, sometimes we speed through it. I want us to really hold. So we're going to hold right elbow towards the outside of the left knee, right glute or right leg is hovering above the ground, it will be, and you're going to squeeze your right glute. So whatever leg is extended, that glute is squeezing. And from here, we're going to maybe pulse a couple pulses over, and then we'll switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. So I really want us to focus on that twist and that hold. And we're going to work on that low back staying pushed into the mat. So if your leg is going too low and your low back is coming off your mat, that leg that's extended, you can reach it up a little bit higher. You want to make sure that low back stays down to the mat. That's the beauty of connecting to all parts of the core. We're almost there. We're at 7. 7. That's how I'm counting to. Trainer counts. 8. 9. I'm doing an extra little pulse before I switch. That's how I kind of know I'm holding it for at least a few seconds before I switch. And 10. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and take it to the dead bugs. So I really have a newfound love for dead bugs. But your knees are going to be up at 90 degrees. Arms are going to reach towards the sky. Low back, once more, pushed down onto the floor. Your left leg is going to extend out. Your right arm is going back overhead. So palms are going to stay facing together. And you're going to extend and reach. Hold for a second. And then exhale, everything comes to center. Then you're switching. Left arm overhead, right leg reaches, and then extending back to center. So keep up with this pattern, and as you're doing so, that extended leg, once more, I'm activating that glute. So my right glute right now, I'm squeezing, and then I'm pulling it back. So making sure we're inhaling to lengthen, exhaling everything to center. That head is supported on the mat. Low back should be pushed into the mat. That's how we're activating the core. We got 1 more on each side after this. All right, last one each side. We're going to do a little variation in that second round. Very good. All right, next one, feet will be flat. We got bridge pulses. So you're going to go ahead and push your hips to the sky, and then finding that nice flat back, and then lower, tap the floor, and lift. Hands can go up like robot arms, so that way you're not cheating and pushing through those hands. So arms can lift up to the sky, so you're really squeezing the glutes. And again, there's tons of bridge variations that we might work through during this challenge. So I just want us to get familiar with the nice bridge and the pose that you should be at, so you're not hyperextending through that low back. 1 more. Good, and then lower back down. So hyperextension means that we're really pushing our hips up too high. And last one, we're going to go ahead and stand up. And we're going to do squats. I know my head might be cut off, but I want you guys to focus on the lower part for this one. So our squats, we're going to push our hips back like we're sitting in a chair, and then stand, squeeze your glutes. Push those hips back, stand and squeeze. So hopefully squats shouldn't hurt your knees. This is one that you got to be really mindful of, watching those knees. Are your knees tracking along your toes? Are your knees pushing out past your toes? If people are struggling with getting your hips back, see how I'm really pushing back? Go ahead and do this over a couch. So doing this over a couch, couch or a chair, that really helps you notice, oh yeah, I really got to push my hips back quite a ways. We'll do one more. And then you should really be able to feel it in the butt. All right, back to the floor, or I should say on our knees. Back to those plank pounces. This time we're going to hold a plank at the end of these. So go ahead and take those hands back to the floor, curl the toes under, push those hips back to that modified kind of down dog, spring forward. We got 10 of these again. So staying nice and strong, hitting that shoulder, elbows, wrist, one straight line, halfway. We're at 7. Last 2. One more. Good, now come to your forearms. Hold that plank. So holding this plank, squeezing our glutes, pulling those shoulder blades down the back. Gets too hard, you should be able to drop right to your knees. So notice I didn't have to shift at all. I could just drop to my knees, but we're holding a plank, staying strong for 5, 3, 2, and go ahead, drop to those knees. Flip it on over, slow bicycles. Round 2, and then look it, we'll be done after this. Squeeze, squeeze. So I want us to really focus on that bicycle, extend and squeeze. So up, squeeze, squeeze. And then as you're doing this, you might slowly, I'll say it for myself, getting better at it, because we're so conditioned to that fast bicycle, or at least I have been, that to slow it down, it takes a little bit of okay, slow it down. Really think about what my back is doing. Really think about that extra pulse when I bring that elbow across. One more on each side. Good, and then go ahead and rest that head down. Arms are going to lift up for our dead bugs. Knees at tabletop. This time, same arm and same leg extend. So right arm, right leg extend, low back stays down, and bringing it back to center. Switching left side, left leg, left arm, back to center. Go ahead and keep with this pattern. Good, low back, again, should stay pushed down. We're working hard. Exhaling to come up. We're at 6. We're going to do 6. We're at 7, so this is how we're counting it. So we're going to do 10 aside and really try to stay strong through that core. I'm even doing a little pulse, I'm noticing, from my bicycles. As I extend my leg, I'm doing a little pulse, and then back to center. So you can add a little pulse if you're feeling fun. And done. Feet will go down for our bridge pulses. So again, for your bridge pulse, you should be able to kind of tap your heels. That's kind of how you know you're in the right spot. Your knees should not be jetting out past your toes. So it should feel good on your glutes, it shouldn't feel bad on your knees. So adjust your feet if your knees don't like it. Robot arms once more. This time we're going to go ahead, hold that bridge. Sometimes we do single leg bridge lifts. So you can go ahead and extend that right leg to the sky, drop your hips down, lift your hips up. So bridge pulses, single leg. So this left glute should really feel it. Maybe even the left quad, which is the top part of the leg. So you should feel it there. We got 2 more on this side. And 10, go ahead and switch, right foot down, left leg to the sky, and pulse up for 10. Now if you want, if this is a little bit too hard with that leg up, you can always put both feet down or cross that ankle at the opposite knee, and you can do that. The main thing is you're trying to keep your hips level. So those hips are trying to stay nice and level. Last one, and go ahead and bring both feet down, lift those hips up, hold that bridge, squeeze your glutes, and pretend there's something between your inner thighs. So you're holding like a yoga block between your knees, so your knees aren't opening out. So keep those knees facing center. That way we fire through that glute meads, and that helps with posture, that helps with low back. That's what was weak. I actually had knee pain from running or training for a half marathon and not properly training my glute meads. So I'm really passionate about that muscle after that experience. 3, 2, and roll it down. You can hug those knees in, massage out that low back really quick. And then we'll roll on up, stand on up. We just got to round the squats, and then we are done. So hips push back, squat For me, this feels most natural. It's just this kind of bring them out in front, push them back. So whatever feels best for you, but you're gonna push through those heels. So your toes, like I can pick my toes up and place them down as I'm squatting. Last one. Whew, very good. All right, so that was day one. Let me know how it goes, and we'll be ready for day number 2 tomorrow.